Now the value proposition for this monitor is pretty clear. This Pro Display XDR from Apple is $6,000. The Studio Display is a bit cheaper but still coming in at $2,000 is a stand. But what if someone take one look at Apple's pricing and said, hey, we can probably make this for $800. And then someone went on and basically built the exact same thing. I mean, wouldn't you be interested? So this monitor here is called G27P, 5K 27-inch 10-bit color HDR display from a relatively unknown Chinese company called Kuycon. Now I want to do this review fair and square, so I bought this one with my own money. The brand Kuycon has no control over what I say or don't say. They don't get to review the video, there's no affiliate link, this is 100% coming from me. Now the first impression, there's no doubt that this display is heavily inspired by Apple XDR display. The aluminum chassis, the Pro stand, the glass panel that covers corner to corner of the entire screen. This thing looks like as if the Pro XDR and the Studio Display had a baby together. But you have to give Kuycon credit where credit is due, because the finish on this thing is probably second on the market just behind Apple, and it's just miles ahead of everybody else. For an untrained eye, I'm not going to be surprised if you mistake it for an Apple product, except for maybe the fact that they packed all the accessories you're ever going to need. That was very Apple-like. I can just see right off the bat there's going to be a lot of people, myself included, mainly want a monitor like this because of its looks. I feel like on paper this can be a solid alternative for the Apple Studio Display. And I intended to find out myself if that claim holds true, and whether this is really the best monitor on the market from a cost-effective perspective. I'm going to test out the display's brightness and contrast, color accuracy, HDR, OS integration, build quality, mounting option, IOs, and finally, whether it's as great as it's advertised. And I got myself some professional tools to run some serious tests, and I'm pretty sure at this time of the recording, this is the most comprehensive review on the internet about this monitor. So starting from the display itself, the G27P uses an LG IPS panel with 5K resolution, delivering the same 218 pixel per inch density as a Studio Display. Now 218 pixels per inch on a 27-inch screen is what Apple considered the retina level resolution. Anything less than that, you can actually see the individual pixels. So this is fairly easy to check. I went to my OS setting, there you see the max 5K resolution. Now in terms of color accuracy, this is a 10-bit 1.07 billion color display that covers 99% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, making it more than suitable for professional photo and video color work. To be completely honest, I don't think this is true 10-bit panel simply because it will be much more expensive. From what I heard, this is an 8-bit color panel with FRC technology. If you don't know what FRC is, it's basically a technology to let a pixel rapidly blink between two colors to create an illusion of a third color. If implemented correctly, your eye won't notice any difference. Now to test this, you can just open a gradient picture using a 10-bit color application like Photoshop and zoom way in to look for banding. It's pretty much unnoticeable until you zoom in like 3000%, so I'd say Kuycon did a relatively good job squeezing as much performance as possible from this technology. The color on this monitor is pretty good right out of the box. Based on my test, under the default mode, the delta E equals 1.2, which is pretty good, but not perfect. And of course, you can always use a professional tool like Spider X or X-Rite to calibrate it and push the accuracy even further. Fortunately, after the calibration, the results were pretty satisfying. It was color accurate and pretty much exactly the same as my M4 MacBook Pro. And of course, Apple Studio Display won't have this problem as they're 100% accurate straight out of the box. But for a $1,000 discount, I suppose this is a minor issue with Kuycon that I think I can live with. Brightness. On paper, the brightness specs are identical at 600 nits typical output. In my own testing with Spider X and X-Rite, the Kuycon tested slightly higher than 600 nits, and I've seen live testing of this monitor brightness to go as high as 700 nits in some instances. Not sure why that is, but at least the advertisement is true. In comparison, Apple Studio Display is advertised to have the same 600 nits brightness, so we basically have the tie in this category. That said, there are some bad news for the Kuycon. If you increase the brightness all the way to 600 nits, the brightness start to vary across a panel, sometimes with a 20% difference. Lowering the brightness to around 50% will fix that issue. But even with a peak brightness, it's not very visible to the naked eye, especially if you have a lot of moving stuff on your screen. But put up a completely black image, you can see just a bit of unevenness. Now the contrast level. In my own testing, it has a contrast ratio of 1900:1, which is quite respectable. However, it was advertised to have 2000:1 contrast ratio, so there's a little bit minor discrepancy. And there are quite a few other reviews has achieved the same result, which leads me to consider whether there's really a quality control discrepancy between units. But nevertheless, I think 1900:1 is also plenty enough. Put it against my fully spec'd out MacBook Pro, you can't really see any difference. So on paper, the contrast ratio should be higher than the Studio Display, but it's certainly not as good as advertised. The screen on the Kuycon uses a glossy finish, and it's definitely a bit more reflective compared to my XDR display due to the difference in coating treatment. But the reflection isn't really any worse than my MacBook Pro. Plus, I don't sit behind a window under direct sunlight, so it's really not an issue for me. But you should probably be aware of this, as it adds a little bit more consideration for your desk arrangement. But one thing Kuycon outdid Apple was HDR support. I feel like this is a big one because a lot of people develop an HDR workflow because of Apple. I mean, most of the MacBook, including the MacBook Air, nowadays have HDR screen. But the Studio Display offers no HDR support whatsoever. That really baffled me. Nevertheless, this is definitely a big win for the Kuycon here. However, to be completely fair, there are some minor issues with how HDR is implemented here with Kuycon. To turn on and off HDR, you can either rely on monitor to automatically detect HDR content, which in my test is a bit unreliable, or you can just use a macOS display setting. Toggle this switch right here, and your HDR content is going to look perfect. But if you do this, be mindful that everything else that's not HDR is going to look washed out, but at least you have HDR, right? macOS integration. I think it goes without saying that the Apple Studio Display has much better macOS system integration because not only does it support native brightness and volume control through keyboard shortcuts, it also has a true tone and automatically color temperature adjustment. The Kuycon, on the other hand, has none of that. But if you're willing to work with third-party solutions such as a utility app called Monitor Control, you can have the keyboard brightness adjustment as well. Of course, this little app applies to any third-party monitor. Just download the app, record a shortcut on your keyboard, and you can basically control the brightness like your MacBook. But here's the biggest difference between the two displays. The Studio Display includes an Apple A13 Bionic processor that powers several integrated features. That includes a 12-megapixel center stage camera with intelligent framing, a 6-speaker system with spatial audio support, a studio-quality 3-microphone array, and Siri voice control. Now, I don't know about you, but those sounds like a redundant system you already have on your MacBook. Plus, putting a cell phone chip inside a monitor just to have Siri and webcam control seemed like a very sneaky way to bundle some outdated chip into an overpriced product. In case you don't know, the A13 is the same chip used in iPhone 11 Pro Max. I still have one here. It's old, but still quite powerful as a cell phone chip. So I do think it's a bit of an overkill to have in a monitor. I rather hope Apple get rid of those unnecessary features and just have it for cheaper. The Kuycon, on the other hand, is a lot more traditional when it comes to control. If you don't download the Monitor Control app, they do give you this remote control that works the same way as your smart TV. You don't want to lose this remote, because to keep the design clean, there's no actual button on the monitor except for the on and off switch. So yeah, if you're using a Mac, Studio Display is definitely going to give you a better user experience here. But then again, if you don't care about any of the added feature, Kuycon is the one you may want to get. I wish it can further streamline the menu controls though, since it's not exactly very intuitive to use. Now let's talk about build quality, because I think a lot of people would want to buy these monitors for their looks. Now, both monitors features premium aluminum construction, but with somewhat different design philosophies. The Studio Display maintains Apple's signature unibody design and premium materials throughout. It has a 1.2-inch thick chassis, and it has a 0.5 black bezel around the display area. The power brick is nicely hidden inside the panel, and there's that. The Kuycon, on the other hand, mimics this aesthetic reasonably well with a full aluminum construction, uniform bezels, built-in power bricks, and very subtle detail like the chamfered edge around the cable management. The panel thickness is a bit thinner because it doesn't have to accommodate all those speakers, but the difference is quite minor. Also, while we're on the topic of thickness, make sure you don't mistake it with a previous generation G27X. That one has a much thicker build and feel much like a prototype. One thing I will add to the build quality, although it may look amazing, Kuycon actually does not have a unibody design. Up close, you can see the assembly seams and slightly less refined finish. It's really a step below Apple's industrial design standard, but I think Kuycon is not really that far off. And compared to everyone else, it's miles ahead. Taking a closer look in the back, this is not exactly the same one-to-one copy to the cheese grater design on the Pro XDR display either. The lattice pattern hole on the XDR display is spherical, and on here, this is a lot flatter. XDR looks much better, but if I were to choose between this and the Studio Display's flat finish, I'll pick this one every single time. Not only it looks nicer, but for a 5K panel, it does get a little bit hot when you use it for a long time. So with proper cooling, it can go quite a long way. Now the weight of these two panels are nearly identical at approximately 12 pounds. The only difference is the mounting options. The Kuycon includes its own version of Pro Stand that provide tilt and height adjustment, and also it supports a 90-degree rotation for vertical orientation. It's also worth noting that the Kuycon stand is much like the Pro Stand from an XDR display, but the monitor itself doesn't automatically detect the rotation like the XDR display does. So you will have to manually set the monitor for portrait mode. The stand is solid, doesn't wobble, and can be adjusted with just one finger. Kuycon also gives you standard VISA mounting compatibility, including in the box. You can swap out the mount anytime quite simply. But with Apple, you better make up your mind upon purchase, because once it's shipped, you cannot get the other one. In terms of port, Kuycon gives you everything you can think of. It has full-speed USB-C, which is going to give you 100-watt power, meaning that you can have the sweet one-cable setup with your MacBook. There are 2 additional USB ports on the back at 480 megabytes per second, and 2 additional USB 2.0 Type-A ports on the side. They aren't that useful for transferring data, but quite handy to hook up for various accessories. Since there's no built-in speakers, it also features a headphone jack on the side. Overall, it's quite clear that the Kuycon has more versatile I/O than the Studio Display. It has an HDMI 2.1 port and DisplayPort, meaning direct compatibility with Mac, Windows, gaming consoles, and virtually any modern device without adapters. For the Studio Display, it actually features 1 Thunderbolt 3 upstream port and 3 downstream USB-C, operating up to 10 GB per second. But this like the only part is better than the Kuycon, so I think Kuycon gets a point in this round. Now finally, the price and value. Kuycon is going to cost you $1,099 for the base model. The Pro Stand is an extra $99, and the cheese grater design will be an extra $50, which is a no-brainer. So at the time of the recording, the total will be $1,250. But wait, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said, but what if I told you there's an option that you can basically get the same thing for less than $900? Well, I meant every word I said. After I made this review, I did reach out to Kuycon and see if there's additional discount for audience of this channel. And here is what their sales said. If you order through their US store, there's an option to pay with USDT, which is going to give you a 15% off. And if you pay with a business account, I believe there's more discount. On top of that, they also give me a promo code for $100 off for audience of this channel. So if you're in the States and are considering buying this, you can use this code CAPZ at their US store to get $100 off. But truth be told, despite the fact that I earned $0 for all my effort, I think this company deserves some respect. In a market that everybody's looking for profit, this company actually built something beautiful. Now the final verdict, who is this monitor for? I would say primarily Mac user who needs to have 5K or Retina level resolution, who don't quite have the Apple budget or just love the nice overall design of the XDR display. Also for some PC user who want HDR support and need flexible connectivity options. If you're one of those, this is really going to be a great option for you. If you're a gamer, it doesn't have the 120Hz refresh rate. If you connect it via USB-C, you're going to have 75Hz refresh rate. But if you're on HDMI, it's going to be lower than that. Kuycon also makes bigger 4K monitor with better refresh rate. I think those may be better options for you. So at the end of the day, this is meant to be a productivity tool for anybody who sits in front of a computer all day and wants to have an enjoyable working experience. So if you're in the States and are looking for a 5K monitor, click the link in the description to get one. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe to the channel. If not, no hard feelings. I'm still happy that you watched until the end. And by the way, I made another video on Apple Pro Display XDR. It's a lot less objective review than this one, but if you're interested in seeing me review the most premium monitor I bought in my entire life, click right here to see that video. I'll see you there. Bye. 6K monitor is $6,000. Just get off. Okay, go over here. Come on, get off. Stay. You need to hold it with 2 hands. Ooh, ah.